Good evening. Oh, we get to listen to a lovely barking dog again for a while. That ought to be exciting. I don't know how well it comes out in the video, but it's very annoying in real life. Give it a second here for a few people to get on. Hello, Lee. Cosmos. Andrew, Eric, Vince, Louis, David, and Christopher. Okay, I'll have to stop there. Oh, there's two feathers. What's up, guys? What a crazy day today. It was a hot day outside, high humidity again. We didn't get too much done around here because we spent the morning freaked out. If you saw the first video, so yesterday, if you saw the video with the little baby birds that had a nest in the bus, and I thought, oh, I better go check on them because I didn't know if the mother, it was still in the same spot. So it was gone for half a day, so I didn't know if that freaked her out or if she's going to come back or not. So I went to check on the baby birds this morning, and then there was a snake curled up in their nest. And then the snake went into the bus, which I didn't know he could get around that backside. And then we were just praying that he would come out of the bus, and he did.
About an hour later.
Yeah, it was at least an hour. I think it was more than an hour.
Maybe.
So then we decided we were going to go to the grocery store. Actually, let me rewind, because this morning I made a joke to Kelly when we heard a loud noise in the front of the bus, and I thought, what was that? And when I came back, it was the GPS had fallen off the windshield in the bus. And I told her, I don't know why, but for some reason, I thought there was like a snake in the bus. That's what I thought I was going to go up there and find. And then, half hour later, I go out and check on the dang birds, and there's a snake in the bus. That was just crazy that I had that like premonition to mention that. I've never said that before about a snake. So then we get ready to hop in the car and go to the grocery store. And driving down the road, I said, we probably need to put gas in this thing pretty soon. And then what, like a minute later, the car runs out of gas. Pull over on the side of the road. Luckily, the fuel gauge on the thing doesn't work. Usually I can go by mileage on it, but I usually do quite a bit of highway. Like we'll go into town where it's like 30 miles and 30 miles back. I haven't really been doing that much. I've been doing a lot of just in town here where I'm only doing like 1 or 2 miles starting and stopping.
Up and down the hill.
Up and down the hill a lot. And don't get the same kind of fuel economy. So you can't just go by mileage on that. So I pull over on the side of the road, and I'm instantly, as soon as I pull over, a police officer pulls up by us with his lights on. The detective who's been helping us out here in town, we met on the first day that we moved here, just happened to have been behind us. But I carry fuel with me, a 1 gallon gas can in the front of the car, so the front trunk. So I just had to, took me less than 2 minutes on the side of the road to pour a gallon of gas in there and get it started and back on the road. But I was glad that he pulled over and turned on his lights for us too, because it was right on a hill, the wrong way, uphill. And I think maybe that had something to do with it running out so quick too. It was the steep angle of the hill, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, it was that was exciting. I'm like, why did I say we don't want to run out of gas? And then I ran out of gas. So then I said, maybe we'll find $1 million buried on the property today. But that hasn't happened yet. Of course, I haven't walked around with a shovel.
We've been on the bus since you said that.
Oh, so yeah, it was just a crazy day. Nothing was going quite right, but nothing went horribly wrong, I guess, because the snake left. We got the car started again. It wasn't, all things being said, it wasn't that bad. I certainly hope that snake does not come back in the bus again. That wasn't fun.
Poor baby birdies, though.
Poor baby birdies, yeah. Kelly's garden is growing like crazy. I'm looking at it right now. It's just insane. Okay, you got some questions on there for me, Kelly?
Do you still have your house?
Yes, not for much longer though. In October, we're gonna get rid of the house. My daughter has up until the middle of October. I've never really needed a fuel gauge on it. Somebody was telling me to get a mechanic to fix the fuel gauge, but I've always been pretty good about it. I could go 200 miles and then it takes 10 gallons and I was always fine with that. you know, or I'd go 180 miles and fill it up before I got to that. Just this extra up and down the hill stuff got a little crazy. Yeah, that would be epic. All right, you have more questions on there, Kel? Are you going through or what?
There was nothing back that I saw.
Okay.
Do you know anyone who has put a ZF angle drive transmission in a GM bus?
No. I'm trying to think, like some of the transits that came with that, they're a totally different configuration, but I suppose they could in some, but I've not seen that, no.
What's your favorite bus repair maintenance video that you've made?
I don't know if I have a favorite video. Probably the Arizona desert, Silver Sides rebuild, getting that thing back and where we drove it back to Michigan. That was a good one. Or the 1947, that teal one that we got out of Oregon that had been sitting and it was buried into the ground up to its axles. That was a fun one. We drove it back to Idaho. That was a fun one too.
Are you going to build a garage with a house upstairs?
We had planned on building kind of a barn dominium on the shop, but we'll see. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's gonna happen.
How did the bug fogger work out?
It seemed to work pretty good. We didn't have a lot of ticks on us at all over there while we were working. Just one or two. Which when I was putting fuel in the car today, there was a tick on me on the side of the road. I was in the little bit of weeds there, and I happened to look down right at my leg, and it was right on my leg. It was just crawling on me. I flicked him off right away, but yeah, it worked decent. We haven't been covered in ticks. We've only had a few here and there. I'm waiting to see if those mosquito things are working. The last couple nights when we've been out here, there's been quite a few mosquitoes. So I don't know how long it takes for those things to work.
Are you going to put garden sulfur around the bus or mothballs in trees to keep snakes away?
I don't think that stuff really works. I went on a video and stuff, looked at multiple videos, and snakes were going right across that stuff, and lots of people say that they don't work.
I think it was the baby birdies that brought the snake to the bus.
Yeah, I do think that.
Because we haven't had any problems.
Yeah. I've seen him near the bus before, but he never messed
they were
with
going
it.
right by, like not even paying attention to the bus. Are you going to pour another pad next to the one you did? You really need more side room.
It's going to get built up with either gravel or something, or if I do like a sidewalk, it doesn't have to be as thick of concrete, so it can be a lot less expensive. It won't be driven on with a, 40, 50,000 pound bus. So possibly, but right now we're getting by with what we got.
Someone's asking if I'm still doing my channel. Eventually.
Yeah, she made me something delicious tonight. She made a buffalo chicken.
Made it out of tofu.
It wasn't chicken, it was made out of tofu, and like she freezes the tofu and then thaws it and freezes it again and thaws it, and then it gets it's more of a chickeny texture instead of a regular tofu. And a buffalo sauce on it. It was really, really good, but it was the first time she's ever made it, so she didn't want to record it. She's going to make some changes on it, and maybe I'll get her to make it again soon because it was delicious.
We have to find the right tofu for it.
Yeah, very, very good.
What is the worst repair you've ever done?
The worst repair? Is that what
Yeah.
you said? I don't know. That I did not enjoy doing?
You said what was the worst repair?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like, electrical system stuff. I don't like alternators when they come apart. That sucks. Yeah, I don't really have anything specifically, though. I wish that dog would stop barking, but that's only one. Usually there's about 6 of them over there barking at the same time.
Are you still going to meet up with Bruce Wilson?
That is the plan. He was supposed to give me a call a couple weeks ahead of time, but it was supposed to be sometime this month.
Does Larry have a 2-valve or 4-valve head?
I don't know. I haven't pulled the valve cover on it. I'm going to assume it's a 4-valve head, though.
And how is the exhaust?
It sounds like it's mostly missing. if you own a dog and it does that all day long, every day, you need to be kicked in the nuts. If you have nuts.
Or the vagina. I was going to use a different word.
Nice.
Have you heard from Phil?
I have not. I have not.
Someone said the snake is guarding the $1 million buried on the property.
Yep, and I will never find it. That's funny.
When are you going to build an outhouse for guests?
An outhouse?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they mean by a house. Like a potty? Is that what they're
Uh,
asking? Never.
do you have a creeper?
I don't know. Oh, please shut up, dog. Please shut up, dog. You know how many times a day I say that?
Are you going to put pea shale around the pad for making it easier for visitors?
I think we're gonna put, well, we're gonna put gravel for now. I think up around the pad to give more of a walkway on there, and then we're gonna level the terrain around it a little bit better, and then we're gonna put maybe like rubber mulch down there on the ones like the patio side, so that they got a nice area to walk or hang out or something like that. And then I'll probably, planting grass is gonna be really hard because of how the rock and dirt and everything is down there. If you run the lawnmower, it's gonna kick up the rocks and everything. So maybe I can take some topsoil down there and put it down there and then plant some grass to have an area for dogs and stuff like that too. Which, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but when David and Pam were down there, they had their dog roaming around free most of the time. And then that next morning, he saw a coyote walking down the driveway right just past where they were at, and then it went off into the woods over on the right there, just right off over the hill. So then they really kept a close eye on their dog, knowing the coyote was just walking around like that.
Here's a good one for you.
Okay.
Who's your favorite brother? glad you're both doing well. Stay safe. You know who that's from.
Yeah, I think only one of my brothers watches this. This is not the brother who had the space alien scare for me. This is Brandon, I assume. Brandon wins. Yeah, he's my favorite brother. He was the one who had the awesome idea to name Tyler's bus Larry after his dad. That was really cool.
When is your next job?
Looks like I got 2 buses coming here to the property next week for getting work done on them. So those will be my next jobs. Wheel seals, brakes, that kind of stuff. Man, I thought the dog stopped barking for a second. I got so excited. It was just breathing.
Okay, you got to stop what you're saying because we've had bad luck today. They're all going to start in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shh. Did you use propane injection bringing Lenny back up the hill?
I didn't, because I forgot that I turned my propane off when I got here because I didn't want it to just have a leak or anything, and I forgot to turn it back on. So I had the valve shut off on the tank. So I did not use any propane injection yesterday. It's just a matter of having a little bit of head of steam and hitting the hill, and then you're completely fine. So if you try to stop, because even where I stopped that first time when I tried it, that's still uphill from that point. So it was never going to work.
How is the solar panels doing?
I'm getting ready to do a video on the solar. Excuse me. Maybe tomorrow. Bug. But the solar is doing perfect. I could not ask it to do any more. We've hit 100% every day in the last month again. We run the air conditioning 24 hours a day, as much power as we want to have. The solar actually goes into I'm going to call it sleep mode after it produces enough power that the batteries are 100%, and then it only draws just a fraction of the amount of power that whatever, if I'm only using the air conditioning, it's like 30 amps, then that's all that the solar is going to produce, is the 30 amps to cover that. And then it's not working at its full capacity. So we're still way below what it actually could produce that we actually need.
Um, who named Thing and why put mothballs to keep snakes away?
What?
I just read exactly said who named Thing.
Who named Thing? I don't know. It's
and
called the
why.
Volkswagen Thing. That's the name of it. That's so. Volkswagen named it a thing. Only in the U.S. It's got different names in a bunch of different countries.
And why put mothballs to keep snakes away?
That's people. That's like a wives' tale or something. I don't think it actually works. Maybe they keep people away too. I don't want my bus to smell like mothballs, so I'm gonna try to seal up that hole with some steel wool under there, and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully. So that's a different dog that's barking now, right?
Does the collapsible ladder you use feel safe? Until recently.
Yeah, I've had it for a couple years. I probably need to think about replacing it. One of the little rung things has come apart, so that I gotta be careful on that step that it latches in place all the way. But otherwise, it's been great. It was like a $70 Amazon purchase. Um, I always keep a hand on something when I'm on it because it definitely has a tipping, sliding, because especially when you're on uneven ground and stuff. But I really like those ladders, but I've seen them for $400 or $500, and the $75 one worked great for several years. So
Sage wants to know if did the package arrive?
it has not. I got to talk to Pompey again and find out what's going on. Last time I talked to her, she was checking with the carrier, and then I haven't heard back from her. But she had the invoice from you, I think, and we had discussed what was there and what wasn't, or what had already come, because it didn't say what was shipped separately in that.
Do your neighbors with the dog watch the live feeds?
I don't think the neighbors with the dog even know
We
I
don't
exist.
even-
I've not met them yet. I mean, we moved in right when the pandemic stuff started, so we haven't. Yeah, I would like to mention their dogs to them, and that it's, I don't know, it's constant.
When are you hitting the road with Lenny?
Hopefully soon. Again, I got 2 customers next week, so maybe 10 to 14 days, something like that.
Unless somebody else is coming.
Unless somebody else comes here, yeah.
That's it, I think. If I missed your question, please ask it again and make sure you're putting it in all caps. When is Tyler coming back to Tennessee?
He might be coming down this weekend. I hadn't heard.
He said he didn't know if he could make it this weekend. If not, he definitely wanted to be next weekend.
Okay, so he'll be down here just visiting.
Depended if he got the work done that he needs to get done. Just got my Jakes ordered for my 6V92. Any tips on installing them?
Just make sure you got all the parts. Make sure you set your clearances right. Don't blow it up. That's my tips.
That's all you gotta say about that?
That's all I gotta say about that.
Are your brake lights working on Squiggy?
Yes.
You ran new wire.
Yeah, I just ran a new power wire. I couldn't get that wire that went to that power on the switch for the brakes. It went through several things. I didn't know what it was coming from, and then it was. I know the electrical system's not super complicated on a thing, but I was like, just let me just run a new wire, and I ran the new wire, and it didn't blow any fuses or anything, so it's good to go. Yeah, I'd like to get some fireworks, like a mortar, and kind of shoot it over towards their property every time I hear a dog barking. Just get a little boom going on. But then that would scare the dogs. It's not. I don't blame the dogs. It's not the dog's fault.
Your first bus was a fishbowl. How many forward speeds was it? Was it automatic?
It was an automatic, and it was basically a 2-speed. Torque converter was first gear, and then it had 1 gear that it would lock up into. So we're gonna call it a 2-speed. VH9, if you want to look it up, is what it was.
What's next for the property?
Probably doing some improvements around the pad. We were going to remove the concrete forms today, but the whole snake thing just got us derailed on that, and then it was a little too warm in the day to do that. But yeah, we're going to get down there and start working on that. I think that's the next thing on the property, right? Is that what we talked about? And just picking up some other stuff around here too.
And then we'll start clearing out back here more.
Yeah, and then we got to
Start cleaning up
cleaning
more.
up all that, the wood, and at some point those stumps got to come out and get ready, that kind of stuff.
Is your son moving to Tennessee and going to live in Larry?
Yes.
How did your career in bus mechanics start?
Just helping friends. Started working, bought a bus, needed to learn how to work on it, and then another friend wanted me to help, and another friend, and then just went from there.
What do you think of Perkins engines?
I'm not real familiar with them. They're in generators and boats and stuff like that. I'm not real familiar with them though.
I think I caught up on all the questions.
It's fun to think about how many buses are on the road today, though, that I've either rescued or saved or wouldn't have been, or I was kind of the only person that was willing to go mess with somebody's bus at their house, travel across the country to where their bus was buried behind a barn or whatever, and get it running and back on the road and drive in. And then other people who've either watched the videos or learned how to do something for it, and save their own buses and things like that too. So it's for the most part, the bus community is really good. There's a few people who root for me to fail all the time, and that's crazy. I don't know why they feel like that. But I'm just going to keep doing my thing and enjoying what I'm doing and help people out.
How many feet above the pad are y'all? It looks very high.
It's about 75 feet, something like that. Yeah, 75 feet maybe, I think. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 barking right now.
Are those dogs from your good neighbor?
That is not from our good neighbor. Our good neighbor would never let that happen, number one. But yeah, it's totally different direction, and we've never met these people, and we can't even see their homes from here. It's on the other side of the holler. They're actually like 2 hollers over.
Do you ever test antifreeze?
Yes. Yeah, I've got a few videos on that too. Holy shit.
What is Kelly cooking next? I don't know.
Dog.
No! Maybe the people. Not the poor dogs.
Oh man, you're gonna make this vegan cook a person. Nice.
I don't know. I want to try. I found some recipes for like bang bang tofu because we used to love our bang bang shrimp.
Yeah.
So spicy tofu maybe. I don't know.
Oh, raise your hand if that's driving you nuts over there.
What is the time scale for building the workshop?
When we get money. It'll probably, honestly, it's probably gonna be after we sell the house now. So.
Was that your truck that your son was working on today?
That'd be nice if it was. I didn't see his video.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Because he said he's got a lot to work on.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Did you ever push those stumps up with the tractor?
Not yet. No, we haven't got to anything yet. And I'd like to get a bulldozer out here to do some of that stuff. I think it'd be a little bit easier. So.
Have you ever met a bus that got the better of you?
Well, everyone that I've worked on, well, I don't want to say that. Every once in a while, something really stupid. God.
That's our only complaint living here.
It's unbelievable.
And they ignore him.
Is Lance on here? I saw somebody say, "Hey, Lance." I don't know if that was it, if they were just saying hi to him or if.
I haven't seen.
Lance had talked about bringing his bus by today to get it worked on, or maybe tomorrow. So that could happen too.
see some progress on Larry?
That's Tyler's deal. That's all Tyler. So I started him and moved him, but yeah, he's got a. This will be a good video to send to the people with the dogs, and to say your dogs are very annoying.
They must be deaf.
It's not puppies. Somebody was just, I saw that because it's been like that for months since we moved in. Their puppies would have been, no.
What is your favorite plane?
My favorite plane is a DC-3, by far. C-47. I'll take either one because it reminds me of my bus.
Are any other family members planning on visiting the property?
Any other family members? Yeah, well, at some point, I think my daughter and
I hope.
future son-in-law will move down this way too, I believe. So,
We hope they come.
yeah.
We miss everybody.
We don't really have a place for anybody to stay right now, so.
Listen. It's quiet.
It's not gonna stay. But we will relish the silence.
What do you think of the Detroit Series 60?
I don't know anything about them, man. They're a decent engine.
How many buses have you saved?
Yeah, this start barking. I don't know. I would say at least probably 50 of them for sure that I've physically had my hands on. Stupid dogs.
What did you think of that modern RV?
It's nice. I mean, I love the vintage stuff, so, but for what it is, it was very nice. It was powerful. It's got all the gadgets and gizmos and that kind of stuff. The only problem is those when the gadgets and gizmos start failing, and then you got to try and figure out what's going on. Those kinds of nightmares. That's not really my thing, but that was really nice. They were super nice to have here. It was fun having them.
When will you have the dozer brought to Homestead?
I don't know.
That is just crazy. Is it a kennel or what over there? I thought the same thing. I thought maybe the Humane Society or something was back there.
I don't know how many dogs. I need to get a drone and fly it over there and find out what the hell's going on. Load it up with treats or something. I don't know.
Have you ever completely rebuilt a transmission like you have on Lenny?
Have I ever rebuilt one? Is that what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I've had them completely apart and replaced bearings and stuff like that, but I've never done a complete rebuild on them. It's usually easier to just put a used one in, just for cost-wise. You know, I can usually find a used one for $300-400. So when you're talking labor costs and stuff like that, it's a no-brainer just to put a used one in there. So. Hey, what would you do if your neighbors had dogs that did that all the time? Not just once in a while, every day, hours at a time. I mean, it's been 2 o'clock in the morning and they do that stuff. I don't know, really. I really don't know how to approach it other than when I meet them, I'm going to mention that your dogs are...
Well, they obviously know their dogs bark.
But maybe they don't know that there's people that they bother, and so they don't care. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make them mad and have enemies kind of thing, but... I mean, we're going to make a little noise over here every once in a while, too.
Will Lance let the Stig run up the hill in his bus?
Lance can run his own bus up the hill.
Is he going to come up the hill though? You're going to be working down there.
Yeah, but I'll let him try it if he wants to. He'd be the first 8V71 coming up the hill. 2 more cylinders, see what he does with that. So far, all the buses, we've had 3 of them up here, and they're all 671s.
Is Tyler still with his girlfriend?
No. Yeah, there's probably a local noise ordinance, and they are in the city limits. So, but I would hate to be the person that just goes that route before talking to them first. I wouldn't do that. So,
Will the shop have a living area?
that was the original plan, but I'm not what she wants or wants to do, but I'm leaning towards building a tiny house that'll end up being a guest house in the future.
I'm fine with that.
But make it be a container home over on the other side of the shop, and then
As long as we.
that would be cheaper than adding on space to the shop and converting it to the barn dominium that we originally wanted. And then we'll still have the spot where she wants to put the house that would be more of our permanent house.
I'm fine with that. How many dogs is that? No clue.
Yeah, I have no idea how many dogs.
When are you going to finish up on Lenny's wheel and TLC?
His front wheels are done. It's his right rear that's going to be a while before I get to that one. Those bearings weren't nearly as bad as the ones in the front, but that one's it's gonna be a little bit. It's actually quiet again.
Steven says you could use a drone to drop a message off at the house.
Yeah.
The dogs bark all night. Sometimes.
Sometimes. They're definitely not inside dogs. I do not think they're inside dogs. And why have that many dogs if they're not inside? I don't know. I don't want to get into that, I guess.
Do you have a good parts supplier in town or machine shop?
We have like auto parts stores, chain auto parts stores, but no, there's no specialty places. But we're not that far from Nashville, and I have not located a good machine shop yet. We'll have to do that.
What do you think about Caterpillar 3126 motors?
I've only messed with them a couple of times and nothing major. Sometimes they're in like the older Wonder Lodges and stuff like that, I think. I think that's the number of the cat that's in there. I've never done anything major to them, so I have no idea.
Do the nice neighbors know the people with the barking dogs? They're trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, they don't really. No, they don't know them. They don't really hear it over there. They're on the other side of another holla.
Yeah, they don't hear it as
They don't
much.
really hear it.
Someone says you could file a noise complaint.
Yeah, I won't do that until, like I said, until I talk to them, or at least give them a chance to work it out among neighbors.
This Steve says, as a law enforcement officer, there is usually a barking dog ordinance that addresses that. How long will Larry take to complete?
I think he's gonna about a year time frame before he wants to have him on the road. I think a few months he'll have him livable and converted on the inside, and then all the mechanical stuff that he needs to go through. That bus is in great shape though.
What's up with the solar panels on the ground?
Those are 4 extra panels that we ground deploy. So it just gives us, for cloudy days, like today is a pretty cloudy day, it just gives us some extra, you know, we'll probably pull, they're 1300 watts of panels there, but on a cloudy day like today, they're probably pulling in like 200 more right now, something like that. So just a little bit extra to just help us out.
How do you put Lenny in reverse?
You put them in first gear, and then you push a button that pulls a solenoid back on the transmission. It pulls an arm back on the transmission, and that slides a gear on the inside. So then when you put it into second, while you're holding that down the whole time, you slide it into second. That becomes reverse.
Did you name the property yet?
Have not come up with a name for the property yet.
Do you miss your dogs?
I do. Yeah, they're
You
our
miss
daughter's
those-
dogs, but yes,
You
we
miss
miss
those
them.
babies. What kind of gear oil do you run in the hubs and diff?
Like a 75 140, something like that.
Someone's asking what's their address. I'll call the city. I don't even know. I don't even know exactly where it's coming from back there.
I don't even. Yeah,
There's a dirt road that goes back off, and I think it's back in there.
yeah, it's one of like 6 mailboxes or something. I don't know.
Where is the emergency shut off on a Marine 8V92?
There's probably not one. That was kind of the thing when they went to the 92 series. They got rid of that feature because most of the runaways were caused by stuck racks or stuck injector, and by the time they went to the 92 series, they had individual controlled injectors on the rack, so each one was spring loaded on there. So then they did away with the air shutdown, which doesn't help you if you have a runaway from a blown turbo or a blower or something else. So, but usually they don't have them.
What is a holler?
What is a holler? It is the lower part between 2 mountains or 2 hills. So the valley or so
Something we learned when we moved
something
here.
we learned when we moved here. People kept talking about the holler, and I didn't know what they were talking about. What's the holler? The holler is down there, and then you go back up a hill again and down to another holler. They live across the holler.
Are the other neighbors over yonder? Yes.
Yes. The cleavage between 2 hills. That is correct. That's what it is.
Was the snake in the bus the same color as the black racer you showed?
Yes. It was definitely the same snake. There wasn't 2 snakes. There wasn't one that came out and his friend was hanging out by there. There was 2.
How much torque does Lenny have?
About 600 foot-pounds. Basically a 71 series, you're gonna get about 100 per cylinder.
Have you done a test drive with additional solar panels?
Just up and down the driveway. I haven't been on the highway with them, but they're no difference. They're exactly the same as the other ones that were on there. They'll be fine.
When do you expect a tire change on Lenny?
He's got all new tires. His tires are only a year old. Less than a year. Some of them are less than a year old. His steer tires are a little over a year old, and his drive tires are less than a year.
Will Larry's setup be similar to your bus?
That's Tyler's blank canvas, so whatever he wants to do.
Do you guys watch any YouTube channels not bus related?
I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube channels. Nothing super religiously.
Can you build a berm to buffer the dog noise?
No, because there's a 150-foot hill between us.
Do they make an updated version for the fuel racks for the 671 to keep it from going full fuel?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually have one in my parts collection at home. Someday I was planning on putting it on the bus, but haven't got to it.
Maybe late asking, but what are your shop plans, size, etc.?
50 by 80 was the original plan, but I think we're gonna go smaller.
Do you know what type of snakes they are?
That was a black racer, I believe.
Would you ever run recap tires on the drives?
I don't, but I've had several clients that do, especially if you can get good used recaps. As long as you follow the same rules, and if you run a TPMS, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But one tire blown out is going to cause thousands of dollars in damage to your bus, which the parts are hard to get to, if you want the wheel wells all torn up and everything. So, to save a couple $100, I don't think it's personally worth it. But
Did the larger tire throw off your speedometer? Don't have one.
well, I do have a speedometer, but my speedometer is GPS, so that doesn't affect it. But yeah, it would on a regular vehicle if you relied on your speedometer like that.
On a 6V92, what would cause a fan belt to constantly snap off when going over 50 miles an hour?
Probably alignment of the fan hubs. That would be my guess. Something's not right.
Have you ever worked on a diesel locomotive?
No. I've been on a diesel locomotive because my dad, Larry, worked for the railroad, and when we were kids, we used to get to go to the yard, and we could ride in a caboose every once in a while in the yard. And I just remember all things that OSHA would definitely not allow nowadays for kids to do, or is OSHA who'd be responsible for that, or just the insurance company for the railroads. But yeah, it was always cool to go. We go to the roundhouse and just be able to watch what was going on. It was really cool.
Does wind direction affect how much y'all hear the dogs?
No,
It just echoes off everything.
it does echo. When we were down the other night at the pad and we heard it, it sounded like it was coming from the other direction. It was crazy.
You just got a super chat. So if
Oh.
you want to look at that.
Hey, Gary Watson. Oops. From Australia, great channel. Now a 4106 Fanatics. Carrying that. Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah, they're down there, and I assume he's singing from Australia. And the driver's side is on the other side of the bus in the 4106, the Australian one, I believe, right? It's right-hand drive. I think that's what I remember. Somebody's doing the conversion right. Thanks. Go ahead.
Someone is saying Buck Steel and Franklin is a local manufacturer.
I've never heard of that before.
Off the top of your head, what cost would it take to install a turbo on a bus like Lenny?
A lot. There's a lot of fabrication that has to go on. The turbo doesn't just fit on that engine in the 3751. So some other buses are a little bit easier where you've got more clearance to where to mount it and things like that. Yeah, on my bus, it's very complicated. Well, there's an easy way that's not the right way, and then there's the right way, and neither one of them are cheap or easy.
When are you going to change out the leaf springs on Lenny?
It's on my list. That's like, it's going to be this year for sure. Just don't know exactly when. Now would be a great time though, just to order them up and do it.
Will the solar panels affect the fuel economy?
No, we already had most of those up there on the way back from Arizona, and there was no wind noise, there was nothing, and yeah, it didn't affect the fuel economy. There was no drag. Actually, it might actually improve because I do not have those rooftop air units up there anymore, and those stuck up taller. Um, the front end of the bus is such a flat thing pushing through the air that it disrupts the air going over it, and they're not there.
Have you heard of many silversides being exported to other countries?
Yes, it's a big thing going on right now because they're actually more valuable over there than here. So, especially European countries. Yeah, there was a guy going around buying up a lot of buses in the last couple of years. Silversides, there's probably 20 of them that are over there now that they got over there within the last couple of years. And scenic cruisers, a couple of them. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So at least they're being saved, but yeah, they're going overseas.
Oh, Buck Steel is a building manufacturer.
Oh,
Good to know.
yeah, maybe they want to sponsor us. I like Buck Steel. They make really good buildings.
Let's check them out. It's good to know that, though. How long does it take to pull a bus engine out?
4 to 6 hours usually, something like that. Maybe sooner if you got a couple extra people helping. It's not hard. They're made to come out real easy.
Okay. Rodney Middleton said, what do you think about the axle tube on the Silversides I just picked up?
As long as it all fits on there and it torques on there, I think you're fine. It's definitely been modified, so it probably had some type of a failure and they had to weld a new one on, would be my guess. You're not going to be able to put you're stuck with oil with that because you won't be able to get a seal on it or anything on the inside. That block off plate is not going to be able to be on yours. That separates the grease from the oil of the axle. But I think you'll be fine as long as that nut is threaded on all the way and it torques on. I think you're gonna be okay.
Have you heard anything from the owner of the 3703 four-banger?
Every once in a while, he'll send me a message, but I don't know how he's doing with his conversion or anything like that. But I love that bus. That's one that I'd like to own.
Someone's calling you sexy.
Oh, thank you. Did you see my knees yesterday? My legs under the bus?
Okay, we're caught up.
Okay.
Is there a four-wheel drive bus?
I don't think so. Not from, well, not that I'm aware of.
How's the fuel economy since the upgrade to a four-valve head?
It's the same. Maybe I mean I have a little more power, so I probably drive it a little harder. I mean, we turned the governor up at the same time, so I don't have a really accurate way of measuring that. But it's all relative. It's about the same.
Have you ever done an alignment on Lenny?
Yes, twice. With the tape measure, which all the directions are in the book for the tape measure route. I took them to get alignment where I get my tires done at because they did my other bus and they did an amazing job on it. It was like $100 or $150, something like that. They do it with the lasers and all the craziness. Lenny's problem is that right rear is so saggy. It's definitely lower, and I think that kind of tweaks everything a little bit. Because when I had the airbags in there, when I would raise that side up higher, it would just handle different in the steering. and I really don't want to do a whole lot more until I get the new leaf springs on there. But anyways, I took it to that shop to get the alignment, and they said they couldn't get the tie rods to move. They were seized. So I brought it home, and I'm like, bullshit, they're seized, and put a pipe wrench on there with a hydraulic jack underneath of it and pumped the jack, and definitely got them to turn. So, but then I didn't want to take them back. So that's when I got out the tape measure and straightened it out.
Do you have any Detroit diesel specialty tools you can't live without?
Timing pins for sure. The socket for the fuel jumpers, those are nice. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can get by with using other stuff, like when we use a golf ball for the, the rubber to put the vacuum test on the side of the piston on the retaining ring. That's nice to have to make sure you're not leaking oil through there.
Just got a super chat.
Nathan, hello from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. Well, hello back at you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that super chat. That's very nice of you. I'm not really sure when the dogs finally stop barking, but I think is it a real thing?
Are you still happy with the exhaust refit?
Oh, very happy. Did you listen to him come up the hill yesterday? That was cool. I should play that over in the loop. Just kind of, it was awesome. Sorry. I had to let off. I big time had to let off coming up the hill because we didn't have the bus like secured inside like we normally would for a road trip. There was extra things on the counters and things like that. And she was just bouncing around and moving. I mean, you got to think about a 25% grade coming up the grade like that and being gravel and not perfectly smooth. And I had to let off. I was like, I can't go this fast up the hill. So he will go much, much faster up the hill. So if you're using my time, that if you kind of judge, and time the video, he can probably go twice as fast up that hill.
You just need to secure everything first.
Just need to secure everything down because it's going to be a rough ride. And then you got a 90-degree hairpin turn at the end. So
you got to slow down.
I saw the turn coming. I'm like, I got to slow down for that turn because I knew everything inside the bus was going to go flying from one side of the bus to the other. I mean, I screwed the refrigerator down before I went up and down the hill and attached some other stuff, but he was not ready to make a 90-degree turn at 30 miles an hour.
How much oil does Lenny's crankcase hold?
Like 6.5 gallons-ish. Maybe 7. I think it's 7, actually. I have a different filter on there.
Does Lenny have a rear sway bar?
He does, and his is actually still hooked up. And that's kind of one of the things on a Silver Sides that you can disconnect that rear sway bar. That really adds to the bulkheads cracking. That's a big known issue for them. But mine's been on there for 73 years, and it's still hooked up and working. So I don't have the heart to disconnect it. But 90% of the ones that I work on, they're either broken or off.
Someone says, my favorite video is a Silver Sides bus repair up in Minnesota. How is that bus?
Probably still in storage. That was, got moved into the Greyhound Museum storage garage there, just to protect it from the elements and stuff like that. And I think originally he had talked about making that his own personal motorhome, but I don't know. I think it might have been for sale too, kind of thing. And obviously this whole pandemic thing has really screwed up a lot of people's future plans and things like that too. So I haven't talked to him, or I don't really know what's going on with it, but as far as I know, it's still sitting there.
You have also often stated that a 2-valve head cracks between the valves. Any specific common cause? Does anyone make a new casting these days?
No, it's just design. There's a lot of heat there, and there's not a lot of space between them because the valves are so large. That's why they went to that 4-valve head.
Okay, be honest. How bad are the storms in Lenny on the side of that mountain?
We've been in worse storms than him when we were down in Texas and other places. It's not bad. I mean, he gets a shaking and blowing, and yeah.
Is propane better than nitrous?
No. um, it's poor man's nitrous, I think, is what some people call it. It's just cheap and easy to, for $150, you can put that on there, and you can't do that with nitrous. So, um, but you don't get nearly the amount of horsepower gain that you would get with nitrous versus propane. But for me, if I get 15, 20 horsepower boost out of it, that's a great thing.
Just gotta.
Jerry gave us a super chat on there. Use the steep hill and hairpin turn for bus racing. Really like your property. Yeah. Well, that is the plan. I mean, we're going to have some timed. Once Tyler gets his bus hooked up, there is zero chance that he and I won't have a competition for sure of who came up the hill faster.
Have you heard?
Mom won't be here.
Have you heard of what he wants?
Oh, I know he wants to do a bunch of crazy stuff to his bus.
He really wants to soup his up. I don't think you have a chance if he's doing what he's saying.
That's okay. Maybe I can beat his uphill time. I can beat it downhill. Which I was afraid going down the hill yesterday. I'm like, oh shit, what if the UPS guy or somebody comes flying up the drive while I'm flying down the hill?
Did your first bus guest chicken out for the hill climb run?
No, we just never took it back down there. It was a pain in the butt to turn around on the property, and we had a bunch of rain and stuff too. I didn't want to get him stuck down there, and yeah,
He'll be back.
He'll be back. He's going to be here regularly. So he had his mom and stepdad with him too. So it wasn't. If it was just him, for sure, I think he would have done it.
Have you ever come up to Canada for a job, or is the cross-border government headache not worth it?
Definitely not worth it. I've had several people that want me to go there. I might go up there to visit some people and hang out with friends and stuff like that. Totally plan on doing that, but I'm not going to go up there to work. The visa and all that, oh, that would just be a nightmare. No, thank you. But I'd love to go visit Paul up there. He's in Saskatoon. And a few other people too. Go visit Jason when he gets his bus. John. Go ahead.
How big is the biggest snake where you're at? Oh.
I don't know.
That first one we saw was at least 5 or 6 feet long.
I don't know about 6 feet, but yeah, I would say 5 feet.
At least 5 feet.
Yeah.
What are the big building Tyler wants to do to his motor? He'll have to tell that.
He'll have to tell it all. He wants to put a common rail, like full high pressure fuel injection system. He just got crazy stuff on his mind.
He'll do it.
I won't do it, but he'll do it.
Is there a video of Joe's drag racing his Detroit on YouTube?
Yeah, if you search for Cornfield Corvette, there's a couple of different ones on there, I believe. I know there's at least one, but I'm pretty sure there's several.
I'm not sure what this is. Is an awning on Lenny, and I don't know what it's supposed to say.
I don't have an awning on Lenny. It would be nice to have one. I never put an awning on them before because I didn't want to ruin the roof lines. So, now I don't think it's a big deal. Although, when you saw him flying up the hill, how long did you notice before he had solar panels up there? Because that's not the first thing that I see when I see him. So I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
I definitely wouldn't want anything that was like big and bulky looking or anything, but I don't. How would we do it though?
A lot of some awnings are much more obtrusive than others. So yeah.
But because of our base, can we really have those
Yes.
arms coming out?
Yes, we can. Gary has awnings on his bus.
Okay.
So yeah.
What did that just do?
I don't know. You turned your phone upside down.
No. Hey, we're all caught up, so
Yay. It's actually, I want to listen to the sounds of nature. Non-domesticated nature. I saw somebody say, I did not scream when I saw the snake.
no, you were laughing.
Because I could
I could not believe you were laughing.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
You were laughing, saying, "Don't go in there."
I went to go check on our little baby birds. I didn't expect to see a predator hanging out in there, looking back at me like, hey, they were mine.
You're laughing. I won't cry for those baby
Oh,
birds.
sorry, man. It was, yeah. We saw the owls and heard the owls were super loud yesterday. They were right down by us when we were down on the pad.
I saw the one go flying.
And then she saw the one fly away. There was two of them together. There was a pair of them. And I've seen them flying a few times. So
But we haven't caught them in the trees.
yeah, we haven't got video of them in the trees yet.
Okay. You have anything else to talk about?
I don't think I have anything else to talk about. What are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to take the forms off the pad tomorrow.
Tasso says we are awaiting your arrival. We have a spot reserved.
Oh, that's Paul. Yeah. We want to get up there and visit him so bad. He's been stripping the paint off of his. He bought a MCI. He's got several buses. I don't even know how many buses. Paul, how many buses you got now? And he's kind of the guy that got me started in the mobile bus repair business when he had a breakdown at his bus. And he's the one where we went up there and in the parking lot of the Detroit Diesel dealership, we pulled the heads off and replaced the crack liners and stuff like that. And like 8 hours later, had him driving back to Canada in that thing. That was kind of the first one that I was able to help somebody out and go there and turn a bad situation into something really good and get that bus back. He was still, I don't know, 900 or 1,000 miles from home or something like that. That was fun. But anyways, I was saying he bought that one bus and it was painted. It was an MCI conversion. I think it's professionally converted, but they painted the whole side of it. And his wife, I think maybe he helped a little bit, but I'm gonna say mostly his wife, stripped all the paint off to the stainless steel that's on there. It looks so good. Did you have something else here?
I was
Are we
waiting
done?
to see if you're. No,
Okay.
there's more.
Go ahead.
How many horsepower will the drivetrain of the Silver Size take before it breaks?
Well, the manual transmission can take quite a bit. I don't know that there's any limit that I've ever seen in the book, like an Allison transmission has a very distinctive limit that most 8V71s are over the horsepower allowed. But that would be horsepower at the wheel versus the other accessories that it's powering and stuff too. But I don't think there's any limit. It's pretty tough old bitch, so I think he could do a lot. I don't think a 500 horsepower engine would hurt anything in that.
Okay. Jim Haynes says, I emailed you about a new old stock fuel filter for Detroit I have to see if you would like me to send it to you guys.
See, I'm leery about those things because I've had problems with old stock filters, or sometimes there's rubber inside of them, the rubber that seals on the top or the bottom or whatever, and it degrades over time just like any rubber does. So when you put it in there, it's got cracks and holes in it, so then it's not filtering properly. That's my concern with new old stock filters. I typically don't buy them, and I'm very careful about where I buy my filters from to make sure that they're not old stock, or if they've been sitting on the shelf for 5 years, I don't want them protecting my engine.
Have you seen any black bears or wild hogs?
No. As far as I know, there are no bears in this part of Tennessee. Hogs, I don't know about. But yeah, coyote on the property is about the biggest thing we've seen.
How much does governor gap setting affect performance?
it's a very important step. I don't know like percentage wise or anything, but yeah, you want to make sure that
And
you've
he
got it
says
set.
less than 250,000 miles on a 6V92.
What?
With that same question, it says less than 250,000 miles on a 6V92.
Oh. Um, does it need to be set? Is that just I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
How much does governor gap setting affect performance? And then it says less than 250,000 miles.
Yeah, it's probably not like way out of whack if that's what you're asking, with that kind of mileage. It's cooled off nice here tonight. It's not nearly as warm as it was earlier.
Someone wants to know if I've stopped cooking.
No, but I did work her really hard the last couple weeks.
You've been getting simple stuff that I've already made before, so nothing new had.
Yeah, nothing new and exciting to shoot a video about, other than what we had tonight, which she didn't want to shoot a video of that until after she'd done it one time. So hopefully you'll see that video coming soon, because I would love to eat that again. Hey, they're barking again.
You just noticed that?
Yeah.
Is that the original color of Lenny?
Real similar.
The paint used on the roof of Lenny, will it also be used on Silverside's Larry?
Probably, but that's up to Tyler. Are we done?
How do you like not having an electric bill?
See, I still have an electric bill, just not electric bill here for something that I'm using. So when you still own a house somewhere else and somebody else lives in it, you still have an electric bill.
But it's nice
I like
to have
not having
here.
2 electric bills, but no, it's nice. We had several storms come through here, and the neighbors have lost power because of that. And we don't ever lose power for the storms, but we do lose our cell phones every time the power goes out. Don't ask me why.
Has animals got into the garden?
No, nothing has got to the garden yet.
Probably shouldn't even ask you that right now.
Yeah,
after
no,
the
not
day we
today.
had.
Not today.
And we're caught up.
Yeah, only our Verizon cell phones go out when the storm comes. We don't. Our AT&T phone has been fine. So, all right. Well, we'll finish up now that the dogs are quiet. I'll let you guys go in peace.
They won't be quiet for long.
Oh.
I feel sorry for them.
No, they're barking again.
Yeah. Would you like to have some thick cardboard sheets to use under the bus?
Yep, that's my favorite kind of creeper right there is cardboard. I try to save big boxes, and I used to be able to go to we had a H.H. Gregg where they had like TV boxes and stuff in the dumpster. We could grab some of those, and then when I go down and visit Bill at his audio shop, he loaded my bus up with a whole bunch of TV boxes for like flat screen TVs. They worked great. I think at one time I had like 20 of them in there. I had a whole.
We couldn't fit anything else.
Couldn't fit anything else in that bag because I had so much cardboard with me. But eventually, yeah, and I need to get down and visit Bill again. He's in Gainesville. He's got 4106.
How do you shift a Spicer into reverse?
Actually, you can go back and watch this video again at the beginning. That was like one of the very first questions. You put it into first gear, press a button, hold it down, put it into second. That's in this kind of bus. Some other buses are a little bit different.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna finish up. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate everybody subscribing and watching and joining us through this crazy time. Yeah, just a crazy day today, and it'll be nice. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. I'm not sure if Lance is coming or not, but we got a few things around the property we're gonna try and get done. And I do have a new video about the solar coming up now that the project is completely done. I want to go over everything, real world results, how much power we're generating, how our needs are being met with that, and how much the Battleborn batteries are producing for us, the solar panels, the Victron stuff. Just kind of reviewing all that stuff. If anybody wants to get into installing a system, kind of showing you what we have and how well it works out. So yeah, I mean, we got a lot of data to back up what we're doing right now, and super glad that I have the solar though. It's been great. So I know a lot of people aren't really into the solar thing so much, but if you're wanting to do it on your RV, we'll have a lot of stuff there. So all right, well, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Everybody have a good night. Take care.